Shalom. We're now in the second week where we're reading the portion of the week, the portion called Noah. Noah and the ark, Noah and the flood. Noah saved the world from destruction. He did this by building an ark which would save him from the flood. And he took his family into this ark with the animals, pairs of animals, that they should, after the flood, that these animals should be able to go out and be fruitful and multiply and spread out on the earth. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. All of the population of the world was destroyed. And after the flood, Noah and his children went out of the ark. They were saved. Noah, his name means to rest. Noah is connected to a spirituality of relaxation and meditation, connecting to the Garden of Eden, similar to the spirituality of Adam in the Garden of Eden. He was a righteous person in his days. And he was connected to God through Adam and the Garden of Eden, through meditation, through breath, through prayer, through sacrifice. He is criticized that he did not try to save other people from his generation, and he only brought into the ark his own family. He was concerned only about his own family and their welfare. Abraham was born after Noah, and Abraham was a different type of righteous man who went out to try to talk and convince others and teach them that there's one God. So this is two types of spirituality, which is revealed. One, the spirituality of relaxation and rest. Noah, his name is rest, as is taught in the Zohar. Noah means the resting of the breath, Naicha Derucha. Abraham was different. Abraham was different. He was a soldier, and he went out to battle for God, for the name of God. He destroyed idols that were in the world. While Noah, he closed his eyes and he meditated and relaxed and connected with the Garden of Eden, of Adam. Adam was all alone in the Garden of Eden. Eve was connected to him, but he was all alone. He didn't have anything to do at all more than rest, like Noah, relax, meditate, delight in the Spirit of God that was in his nostrils. God blew his Spirit in his nostrils, and he would then occasionally make a sacrifice to God. His sacrifice was unique. It was with a unicorn. In the temple, they didn't use a unicorn. They used normal animals, a lamb, a cow. Adam used sacrificed a unicorn. He was a unique person. And Noah was a unique person. He was the only righteous man of his generation. When the flood ended, there was a very, very mysterious event in the history of mankind. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Noah drank wine. They all drank wine after the flood. They became intoxicated. They covered over Noah's genitals, and they castrated him. Why did they want to castrate him? What was behind that? They wanted that Noah should be celibate, be like a monk, be like a Catholic priest, be separate from the world, while they would go out and make families and populate the world. Noah made the ark. The ark is symbolic of prayer. Prayer saves the lives of people. The Zohar is called and is compared to the ark of Noah. The Zohar came into the world to bring to the world salvation. Noah brought to the world salvation by saving himself and his family. The salvation of the Zohar is the salvation of the Messiah, the son of Joseph. The Messiah, the son of Joseph, was not mentioned at all in Jewish scripture until the Zohar revealed the aspect of the Messiah, the son of Joseph, as the universal Messiah, with the universal light. The universal light is connected to the universal faith. The universal faith is connected to resurrection. And the Zohar revealed Moses as a master of the universal faith, that at Mount Sinai, Moses represented the universal faith. This was a hidden secret The Zohar revealed it. It says that Moses, when he was at the burning bush, God told him to take off his shoes, and he was commanded by God to separate from his wife. That taking off the shoes was symbolic of a man separating from physical pleasure. Moses, we know, fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. He was 80 years old at the time he was at the burning bush. He was then separated from any physical pleasure, the pleasure of the woman, in order that he should be the vessel for receiving the universal faith. The universal faith is received through saints like Noah, who was castrated. He connected to Adam in the Garden of Eden through meditation and breath. The Garden of Eden being that state of mind of universal faith. Following him was Abraham, but Abraham was less connected with universal faith. His connection with universal faith was revealed at the Akedah when he was willing to sacrifice his favorite son Isaac. And he also brought to the Mount of Moriah also Ishmael, that to prove that his desire for God was not for physical pleasure, not only for family, but being willing to sacrifice family for the universal faith. But his work in the world was more in national faith rather than universal faith. Noah represented the universal faith, and Moses represented the universal faith at Mount Sinai. And it was only after he broke the tablets, the first tablets were for the universal faith, and after he broke the tablets, he became the giver of the law of Moses, rather than representing the mercy of God, to represent now divine justice and to give the law of God. But Moses' main spiritual connection, even after he had broken the tablets, was with the universal faith. And the people of the wilderness that were close to him were also connected with the universal faith. For this reason, they did not go into Israel, because Israel was to become the biblical nation representing the national spirituality of the nation of Israel, the family of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Principally, the attribute of justice was revealed in the biblical nation of Israel. While at Mount Sinai was revealed the mercy of God, and Moses was connected to the universal faith, which is the attribute of mercy. But it was not the time then to reveal the universal faith. It was revealed to special people of his generation, but most of his generation, those that were were the younger people or the women, they wanted a nation. They wanted God to give them a nation, a family that will grow to become a nation. So we have Noah. Noah meditated. He prayed. He didn't try to change the world. He connected to the Garden of Eden, to Adam, before the sin. And he built an ark through which could be saved only a few people, his own family mainly. The world could not become a dwelling place for God through the spirituality of Noah. Nor could it be a dwelling place of God through the spirituality of Adam. This type of spirituality connects with monks and not with righteous family men. The spirituality of Judaism connects with righteous family men. They marry and they have families and they serve God in the world, on the earth. And they're not connecting to the higher realms of consciousness like was Noah connected to, like Adam connected to, but they connected to works of God in this world, including building a holy temple in Jerusalem. After Noah, Moshe Rabbeinu broke the tablets. He gave the commandment to build the tabernacle in the wilderness in preparation for the Jewish people to enter into Israel and build the holy temple. The work of the Jewish people to make a nation required them to go to war, to fight for God, to bring the light of God into the world through nationalism. Noah was connected to universal faith, and Adam was connected to universal faith. But Adam could not maintain that connection with universal faith all the time that the world was not populated. I want to tell you about an event that happened last year. It was in the news. In India, there are ashrams. I visited one, and the guru on our ashram was celibate. He was very, very deep in meditation, connecting to God through meditation, like Noah, like Adam. And the story goes that women Hindu women demonstrate against this ashram where they were worshiping a celibate god. As you know, Christianity, they worship a celibate god. His name is Jesus. And also, on these ashrams, they worship their guru, a celibate god. But the women were not happy about it. They didn't want their children to be celibates. They wanted families. Family religion. Hindu religion is family religion. What is done on these ashrams is not Hindu religion. It's connected to the universal faith and not to national religion like Hinduism. The women demonstrated. They wanted to close down this place. From this we could see very, very deeply into what happened with Adam. Adam was meditating. He was in the Garden of Eden. He was delighting in the Garden of Eden. And there was opposition from the snake, from the woman, his wife Eve, and other women that would be born after her. They opposed Adam to be celibate and to meditate. And they forced him to leave the Garden of Eden with Eve. Noah, his children, castrated him. They didn't want him to be a family man anymore. These women in India, they didn't want the universal faith. They wanted religion, Hinduism. And therefore, also at Mount Sinai, Moses had taken off his shoes at the burning bush, and he was separate from his wife. He was united with the universal faith, and the universal faith was revealed at Mount Sinai. Down on the bottom of the mountain was Aaron and the women of Israel. They complained to Aaron, "We don't want the universal faith. We don't want a religion with a celibate God." And Moses would become a celibate God. And they opposed Moses being a celibate God in the history of mankind. They forced him to break those tablets, the first tablets, which were to make a religion with a celibate God, similar to Christianity. And Moses then saw that it was God's will to make a nation for the forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He told Moses, "I'll make you into a nation." But Moses agreed, "No, you'll make a nation for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It won't be made for me. It would be made for them, the Jewish nation. And Moses then fasted. He went up to the mountain 40 days and 40 nights, and he brought down the second set of tablets for the Jewish nation. And these tablets were received by the Jewish people to be a separate nation. They said, we'll do what's on these tablets. Those that were connected to Moses and the universal faith, called the generation of the wilderness, those who lived in a state of ecstasy in the wilderness, receiving bread from heaven, and their clothes didn't wither, it says. They were living in another world, a world of ecstasy. But it was not the world that was meant for building the kingship of God on earth, a dwelling place for God. This world would have to be built through families that have children and raise their children properly and make for God a dwelling place and build a holy temple in Jerusalem. The Jewish people and Jewish religion sacrificed the universal faith, which is the attribute of mercy, to build a nation whose foundation was justice, the law, a theocracy. Theocracy gives no free choice, and each person has no freedom except to follow the instructions of the Torah, the laws of the Torah. There's no spiritual freedom in a theocracy. And prophecy is suppressed. And this is what became of the universal faith at Mount Sinai. It was then suppressed. There was opposition to the universal faith, and the Jewish nation, the biblical Jewish nation of Israel, was established in the land of Israel. They built the temple. The first temple stood for 400 years. 70 years they were in exile. And the second temple they built for another 400 years. Then the Jews were exiled. But the Jewish nation is an eternal nation it's an eternal nation because the law of Moses makes it an eternal nation. That in the Jewish nation there is excluded every aspect of opposition to national Jewish values. Prophecy is suppressed. Spiritual freedom is suppressed. Only important is the nation and the law of the nation. This is Judaism. Judaism has existed this way 1,000 years after the temple was destroyed by the Romans. But the Judaism of today has changed quite a lot. That this last generation was revealed, the Lubavitcher rabbi, as the Messiah of the law and religion of the Jewish people. He is a representative of that law, an eternal representative of that law. Even though the Jewish sages, the Torah scholars, have been representatives of the law of Moses from the very time that the Jewish people entered Israel and established the temple, King David was representative of the law of Moses, and King Solomon, and all the kings, and all the sages, and all the scribes. The Lubavitcher Rebbe was revealed as the Messiah of the law of Moses, eternal Messiah of the law of Moses. Jews are waiting, still many Jews are waiting still for the Messiah to come to rebuild the nation. And they're not giving up hope. Nevertheless, we have now the Lubavitcher Rebbe, eternally the representative of the law of Moses, the Messiah of the law of Moses. This concept of the holy, righteous man of Israel, who is revealed as the Messiah, the son of David, as an eternal representative of the law of Moses, who doesn't die. This concept is revealed in the Zohar related to King David, because the Zohar says King David lives forever. He lives forever because his desire was only to serve God. And he would rise up at midnight and pray the whole night. And he didn't sleep more than 60 breaths, because sleep is close to death. And also Lubavitcher Rebbe represents the King David, and has been revealed as the Messiah, the son of David, the Messiah of religion. In the time of the Second Temple, there were rebellious Jews. They were rebelling against the theocracy, the biblical theocracy of Israel. And they revealed the Messiah of freedom. And that was the Messiah that became Christianity. Freedom is connected to the universal faith. Mercy. The biblical nation of Israel, they changed over the mercy and universal faith that was revealed at Mount Sinai to justice, and suppressed the universal faith. And this man, he and his followers, they rebelled against the suppression of the universal faith to reveal again in the world the universal faith as it had been revealed at Mount Sinai, but suppressed. Adam represented the universal faith. Noah represented the universal faith. Abraham was a warrior. And Isaac and his Jacob and Pinchas, who lived in the generation of the wilderness, he was a warrior for national religion. There are two sides to spirituality. They are national religion and universal faith. National religion is important for strengthening the family unit and for the survival of this family unit, which was the family of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The universal faith, its purpose is to reveal the aspect of God called mercy and freedom. And this was revealed by Adam, but Adam received opposition from women, from Eve, and Moses at Mount Sinai received opposition from women who wanted family life. The woman is blamed very often for the sin of eating from the tree of life, tree of knowledge. But her purpose is to reveal in the world the aspect of God which unites with the earth. The aspect of the universal faith is the aspect of God which unites with heaven. So now in the world, we have two messiahs. We have the Messiah, the representative of the universal faith, and we have the Messiah who represents religion. The universal faith, we see, is not the only side of spirituality. There is also the side of spirituality of religion. So now we can be able to unite together the two messiahs. Now that has been revealed in the Jewish world, the Messiah of religion, Judaism, we can now unite the two messiahs, the Messiah of mercy and freedom that was born in Israel in opposition to the theocracy of the biblical nation and for the sake of the universal faith, and the Messiah who is the representative of religion and the theocracy of Israel, the biblical nation, the king of Israel. There is now revealed two sides of spirituality, that is the two messiahs. There's a Messiah that is connected to Christianity, and there's a Messiah that's connected to Judaism. Christianity being one extreme and Judaism a second extreme of nationalism and universality. Judaism and Christianity were always opponents, but today they can be united together. But who unites them together? They united together by the resurrection of Moses. Moses is the connection to the universal faith. He's also the connection to the law of Israel. He had both connections, but he is not the Messiah. He is the connection to the unity of God on earth, the unity between the universal faith and religion. To many people, religion remains most important, and the universal faith that is revealed in the Zohar, secondary importance. That is by the Lubavitcher Hasidim. To them, first importance is still the survival of the nation of Israel, Jewish children. On the other side, Christianity and the universal faith, there is first and most important is the revelation of the name of God on earth. The name of God on earth begins with the letter Yud, with mercy. And secondary importance is religion, connected to the letter name of God, but the letter Hey, the last letter of God's name. The Zohar is called the Ark of Noah. It's here to bring peace and salvation to mankind. It's not only connecting to religion, it's also connecting to the universal faith. It came 800 years ago, after religion had spread out into the world, to reveal again the universal faith. That is, that universal faith that was revealed at Mount Sinai. But Moses was never recognized as a representative of the universal faith until the Zohar revealed Moses as a representative of the universal faith. So now we have the universal faith represented on three sides. That is Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, all on the side of resurrection. Because resurrection brings a new light to the world. From darkness to light, it changes over darkness to light. Death is changed over to life. And then the side of religion, continues to be work to do to sanctify the word life through following the law, through sexual purity and morality, and strengthening the family structure, and seeing nachas or good from our children if they grow up properly. Family life is still important in the universal faith. The universal faith gives also credence to Adam, to Noah, to Moses, who separated from his wife. At Mount Sinai, he was separated from his wife, and also to Christianity. Hashem should help. There should be peace on earth. The Zohar is bringing peace on earth. It's revealing the unity between the two Messiahs, the Messiah, the son of David, and the Messiah, the son of Joseph. The side of religion and the side of the universal faith. And it's hopefully will bring an end to wars and the beginning of revelation of God, the revelation of the mercy of God, which has been suppressed from the world for many, many years. Now we should see the unity of mercy and justice, where mercy is primary and justice is secondary. While for some, justice will always remain primary, and mercy will be separate. But each person has to choose which his side and his connection to God. And we should have a salvation similar to the salvation of the Ark of Noah in the world through the Zohar, which is called Tevat Noah, the Ark of Salvation.